All right, a few days worth of lifts wrapped up into one video here. As you can see, doing some deadlifts. This was a fairly decent deadlift day. Again, really happy with how the back feels, the SI joint feels while I'm lifting. I will say the day of and a little bit the day after, there was a little bit of discomfort. You know, from if I say baseline was the morning before the deadlifts, and then you ask me the morning after the deadlifts, I increased the level of discomfort probably 3 or 4 points out of 10. So still not completely healed or out of the woods, but the fact that it doesn't hurt while I'm lifting, I still think about it a bit, but it doesn't hurt while I'm lifting. And the fact that it recovers pretty quickly within a couple days, I'm pretty happy with that. Just have to be, on point when I'm training leading up to competition, and taking care of it while I'm training for throws as well. So this here's my top set at 5. No, that's not my top set, is it? This is my top set at 585. Just did a quick triple at 585 for my top set. Just as you can see, a little slow off the ground, slower than what I would normally pull. But that's just to make sure I'm in that rock solid position as I pull off the ground. Something I got to make sure, again, I got to take care of it. Be smart, not try to be too terribly explosive, at least not in the standard bar deadlift. I think I'll be able to do a lot more explosive work with the trap bar. And then just taking care of the hips and everything, the single leg stuff. This is really, really low impact single leg stuff. It does challenge the hips to stay level and strengthen that. And it's not really hard. I think the hardest part about doing these step ups is holding on to the damn weight for that long as they swing around. Had a couple other things on that, but I did not film them. And this is the next day or maybe a couple days later where I got into some overhead pressing. This is the typical warm-up, as you've seen a million times now. Just some banded Ys, banded Ts. What else did I do? Did some squats because it was push press day. I did want to make sure that my legs were, turned on, ready for the work of helping out with a little bit of a push. So, just overall, this was another training session that felt pretty good. You'll see when I get to the push pressing, it's still a little bit of struggle sometimes with the balance, the timing of the push. I'm only push pressing typically every other week. So really, just if you've ever done push press before, it's a fairly technical. Anytime when you're relying on timing to come from the floor and up, there is some there's technique involved, and you, with technical lifts, you need to practice them more often just to be locked in on them. So that's not really the point with my training necessarily, but at the same time, I want to be able, when I'm doing these lifts, I want to be able to put maximal effort into them without thinking as much about just the technique of the lift. So in order to do that, just got to be more refined, a little more thoughtful approach. Maybe get in a better mind space and really think about the cues that make sense for me. Not a lot different than throwing. I mean, obviously throwing is far more technical than lifting, but you need to be in the right frame of mind going in. Think about the few cues that you need to think about walking into the trig, and then really narrow those down to the things that are going to be most helpful, because you can't have a whole book worth of cues in your head all at one time. So just comes through practice, knowing what you're up against and knowing what you need to do. I think overhead pressing or push pressing, I think I worked up to 275 for a final set. My 275 set was actually a lot more refined, a lot smoother looking than the sets of 255 and what did I do? 235, 255, and then 275. I think the 275 was actually better even than the 235 set. Felt smoother anyway. I think, again, practice. That's just, finding the groove, getting there. You've always noticed probably that my lockout doesn't look great. I just attribute that really to my elbow, particularly my right elbow. It just doesn't lock out. So, I mean, there's not a lot I can do about that without surgery. Bone spur in my elbow, it's not going to go away by itself. And when I press to lock out, it just doesn't go all the way out. I think some shoulder mobility might help just get in a slightly better position, which we're still working on. We're doing the things to help with scapular control and overhead mobility. So yeah, this is the set with 275. Nope, set 265. Maybe this is the set with 275. Yep. Yeah, and definitely was an easier set for me. Yeah, all in all, happy with the push press effort. And then after that, we got into some chin-ups and some floor press, close grip floor press at that. Really targeting the back all the time, and then the triceps all the time. I think you look at an athlete, you look at a power lifter, you look at a strongman, you look at the best strength athletes in the world, they're built from the back. I don't remember who it was. Probably Louis Simmons said, you know a good lifter because you can see their back from their front. And so that's something you need to take home with you when you're thinking about exercise selection. You're thinking about building the machine to be the best operating machine as a thrower or as a strongman or as a lifter. You should always be doing lots of triceps, lots of backs, lots of hamstrings, lots of hips and glutes. Yeah, quads are great and they are useful. Not to say they're not. Biceps are cool, pecs are cool, but you're gonna see the most useful adaptations by doing lots of back and triceps, lots of backside of your body stuff, posterior chain as they may call it. So yeah, add those in. I mean, there's a bunch of different tricep exercises. Westside Book of Methods. If you go look at that, go watch some old Westside barbell stuff. Go watch Dave Tate talk about stuff on the Elite FTS podcasts and videos, and Mark Bell's old super training videos. Watching how much tricep work those guys do. It really does pay off. I think that most of your elite throwers you're gonna see are pretty well stacked on the back. Overhead, tricep extension stuff. The little combo that I do of the overhead, like this, or high pulley and then low pulley, it's a cool way to get volume in. 3 sets of each. Cool way to get volume in a just slightly different, but it builds out, I think, good tricep size and strength around the elbow joint, which is where it's most important. And then the day before I left for vacation here, we got on the bench and did some more banded bench. That's a heavy band set up in a way that gives me about 90 pounds total at lockout. That's just for some relativity for y'all. I don't focus so much on what the band tension is. I'm not measuring it to like put on a chart, but it's just an idea for me to kind of know where I'm at with the lockout, see if everything's tracking, kind of know the feel of the day, where my strength is. And like I said, I put 90 pounds at the top, and then we worked up to 295 bar weight. Couldn't tell you what the bottom is. I actually didn't measure that. I would say I probably still have 40 pounds extra on the bottom of the stroke with the way the bands are set up. So take that for what it is. Get a good look at my belly here. A little power gut. Bar was moving pretty good though. I don't have anything bad to say about my bench right now. Nothing really hurts. Is it the strongest it's ever been? Nah, probably not. I need to bench more often for that to be real, to like push the numbers up. But I really feel like I could take 405 for a ride for 1 or 2 reps pretty much any day of the week if you ask me to. There's that set 295. Not bad at all. What was it? Sets of 5 this day, and it was like I said, not bad. Little, I mean, 5, you wouldn't consider it volume necessarily, but a little bit higher. And then finished off the workout with I think I did more than this, but I didn't film it. But the trap bar bent over rows, just more back work, guys. I'll say it again, do more back. All right, that's it for this one. Thanks for watching, guys.